My daughters just left, and for hours they were talking about different things in the news. My daughters love following the news, and my husband does too. Even though I try to convince him not to watch so much of it, and he doesn't. He goes on spells. So he may go a couple days or a couple weeks where that's all he watches. And then sometimes he'll go a couple weeks and he doesn't watch so much about it. It's really cold outside and I've been doing a lot of work, but I have a question for all of you. Is Trump going to give us a stimulus check? And if he does, what are you going to do about it? So this is what my daughters were talking about, and they were saying that they were hearing that Trump is going to give us a stimulus check. Now, they were hearing about $2,000, but they didn't know if that was per person or per family. But my question to all of you is, do you think we'll get a stimulus check? And if you do get one, what are you going to do with it? It's kind of like winning in a little bit of the lottery and thinking, oh, if I had this money, I would do this with that. And oh, if I had that money, I would do that. Well, for us, we got our electric bill down to $77 this month. Woohoo! I was really excited about that. $35 of that is a surcharge. So honestly, we really spent very little on electricity this month, and I hope that you did watch some of those videos. This video didn't get a whole lot of attention, and it's so much words of wisdom and things that you can do. But I'll tell you what, if we get a stimulus check, it would be a gift that will be amazing for us. We had a very large expense that we just finished the project, which you are going to be seeing, I promise. But we have a few things yet. We had a major project and we had to use the credit card to pay for it. And I talk about being out of debt and not having debt, but when push comes to shove and you need something done, sometimes you gotta rely on that credit card. Now we do have a savings, emergency savings, but we don't touch that. That is catastrophic emergency savings. And this was not catastrophic. So, but it was something that really needed done. I know I don't get into politics or anything like that, but my question to all of you was, you know, is this just more hype? Is this just more talk? You know how that talk goes for months and months and months and nothing even happens from it? Or are we actually going to get a little bit of something that was promised? For months we've been promised that, you know, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And I feel like sometimes that we are left behind. I feel like, you know, hello, we're here in this world, we're the little puppets and the little people, but you know, we're very important too, because I think the US economy and the US world is like the ants. And then you got the worker ants, and they do all of this work. They're doing 10 times the amount of work than what they should be doing, but they are what keeps the ants going. So I vision ourselves as these little ants. And in fact, if you were on the moon and you seen Earth, you know, we are just this tiny, tiny little place. But all of these little ants scurrying here and there, and sometimes I feel like that. And I'm sure you do too. Sometimes I feel like I am a squirrel and I am just always busy trying to find the biggest sale and the biggest deal, and you know, gathering it all up and tucking it into my home and keeping it really nice and prepared for when things, you know, aren't so nice. And it seems like my whole life is that way. It's like I'm the little engine that could, and I think I can, and I think I can. Sometimes I get burned out with all of this politics and all of these things that are happening in the world. But then sometimes I have renewed energy. And so I don't know if the stimulus check will come, or if it'll have lots of strings attached to it, or what it's going to be. But I do know this: it would be very nice to have it. And I'm sure you all would say the same thing. But I want to know, please keep the political talk out of it. It doesn't matter. You know, we have our president, okay? It doesn't matter what you're thinking or what this, but I want to know, if you got money as a stimulus check, what would you use it for? That's really what I would like to know. You know, we all know, you know, there are people that are against things that are happening. There are people that are for things that are happening. There are people that are disgruntled. There's people that, you know, are sad and We all know that, okay? So that's not here or there. But what I do want to know is what's your opinions politically aside? If you just got some money, what would you do with it? So I would pay off the credit card, pay that off, and that way I wouldn't have to work so stinking hard, and I could actually have it paid off. And it's not that much, but it seems like every year or every month, it seems like it gets harder and harder and harder because things arise, and especially when you live in a really old house and a mobile home old house, it's always so many things that have to be tended to. Vehicles, dental work, you know, physical, you know, problems. It's always something. What's the old wives' tale? It always comes in threes. Well, I don't know about that, but it's always something. And it's so hard not to get frustrated because you pay off a bill and you have something completed, and then all of a sudden it's something else. Come on, has this happened to you? I know it has. You had a problem with your vehicle, you take it in, you get it fixed, you pay the bill, only to find, you bring it home, there's another problem with it. 9 times out of the 10, that's happened to us. No matter where we went to get our vehicle fixed, there was always more problems when we brought it back than when we had it. And so, you know, little things that we may need when we were doing the major improvement in our house inside. It's inside, people. So excited. But we would go on Amazon and there was little things that we needed. And my husband said, well, it's probably only a couple dollars. Well, yeah, back in 1988, it was only a couple dollars. Now it's 15, 20, 30, 50, $100. And he's like, what the world? Lumber is so expensive. And it's like, you know, what he thinks is going to only cost $50 is ending up costing hundreds of dollars. So the stimulus check would be really amazing for me because I could use it to pay that off, and then that home improvement would be paid and be done. And like I said, we do use a credit card. We have one, and we do use it, and we pay it off every month. But because of this situation that we had, we couldn't pay it off this month. Now, let me know in the comments below. What would you use your stimulus money on? I want to know. And what do you think? You think it's gonna happen? Are we holding our breath? Or do we think it's just another bunch of talk? I don't know. But I do know there's a lot of things happening. But the thing is this, every day it changes. And it's like days of our lives even worse because even soap operas had some kind of formality to them. The world we're living in today, you can hear something in the morning and be totally opposite at night. Isn't that true? Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys again on the next one. Just remember, I'm over here, the big wide world of the internet. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe you want to watch some of my videos. Help this old girl out. Bye, everybody. I want to know in your comments below, what are you going to spend your money on, or are you going to save it? I know for me, I would love to get that bill paid off. Bye, guys.